Now let's see how we can use the community mastery board. But first, let me explain it to you briefly. As we mentioned before, we have 4 columns. We have the awarenesses column, where we will make visible all the things we would like to improve as a community. Then we have the solutions column, where we will propose some solutions in order to address the awarenesses raised. And we will set a trial period to see if these solutions have worked or not. Then we have the practicing column that we use for those solutions that actually started working and we would like to practice more. And the integrated column, where we put all these practices that we really don't have to think much about in order to continue doing. We just integrated them into our culture and became the new norm. Now let's see an example of one awareness that could arise in your projects, in your schools. Someone mentioned that, let's say Mary mentioned that not everyone in the team works equally in projects. So we have this awareness, and the facilitator in this case would ask Mary to give a little bit more context. And Mary says that she and Joe at the end did most of the work of the team that included 7 people, right? So we ask Mary in this case, what would she like to see happening, right? Because we don't want to stay in the problem. We want to shift the conversation towards a desired future. So we ask Mary, what would she like to see happening? And she speaks about justice and respect at work, right? So we would like to have a just, a fair and respectful environment when we work as a team, at team projects, right? All right. Then we feel ready to then ask the group, which solutions do we think could address this problem? So we move the sticky note, and then we bring a new sticky note here. Like this. We put it on top. And we start listening to the group, right? And the group says that maybe before we start actually doing the project, we have a clear list of tasks and people responsible for them. And we make that list public to our group and to our teacher, right? And maybe another person says we can also include having clear deadlines for these tasks, right? We want to have reminders and alarms for these things, right? Here, the facilitator should try to weave the solutions, right? We want to avoid voting, because sometimes you have 6 people saying something and 4 saying something else, and you almost have half of the group not content with what we might try. So we start weaving the solutions, right? And we ask the group if someone feels against trying these solutions. And we remind the group that we will only try this for a week, right? This doesn't mean that we will do this for the rest of our school year. This means that we will try it out for a week and see what happens. We aim to find consent to try here. And let's say the group said yes. So as solutions, we have list of tasks and people responsible in advanced and public. And we also have clear deadlines and alarms, right? Beautiful. So this happened during this change-up meeting. And then we'll circle back to these proposed solutions the next week, right? So a week has passed, and we ask the group, how has this worked? If this has worked at all, right? And we have 2 scenarios here. One, that people say, yeah, it worked great, right? We actually have, Mary says, we actually have now more equity, better distribution of responsibilities, etc. Beautiful. So now, since we saw this happening, we move these items, first the awareness and the desired future, and then the things we did to address them, to practicing. And we will focus on practicing this for a month. Let's say we make agreements about the time, right? And then maybe we keep practicing it, and by the end of the trimester we don't have to really think about them, we just have included them into our culture. Then we will put them here so we all can see how we started, what happened, what we desired, what we did and practiced, and now integrated as for our culture. And maybe if we have newcomers at some point, they can also see how we deal with teamwork and justice and equity. It could also happen that here, when we circle back after a week, we ask the group, how has this worked? And Mary and the group and other people say, it has not worked at all, right? We have not actually changed anything. A couple of people end up doing the work for the whole team, etc. In this case, we erase this guy and we bring awareness back to the first column, right? And we now have the experience of something not going well, and we do the same thing with the original awareness. Again, we ask the group, how can we move towards justice and respect and equity at team projects, right? We go back, propose solutions, and after a week we see if they have worked or not. This process, of course, brings complexity because you don't have someone telling the whole group what to do, right? But it enhances people's belonging to a process, belonging to the container where their learning happens, right? And you have people using their voices, making their own choices, learning how to make agreements, etc. So as it brings complexity, it also brings deep learning for individuals and groups. We hope you now feel a little bit more clear on how to use the community mastery board, but we can also stay in touch and continue the conversation to deepen in our understanding and mastery of this board. Thank you for watching.